Welcome to this explainer. Okay, I am absolutely thrilled to take you through what's gotta be the most daring, cinematic, and honestly, flawless heist in American history. Just imagine stepping onto a completely normal 30-minute commercial flight. The guy sitting behind you is wearing a sharp black business suit, a black tie, and sunglasses. And then he jumps out of the plane mid-flight and is literally never seen again. Today, we're investigating the FBI's ultimate cold case, digging deep into the details of the only unsolved skyjacking in aviation history.
Right, so that's the ultimate question we're tackling today. I really want you to play detective with us as we unpack the timeline, the evidence, and just the sheer audacity of this crime. A body was never found. So, did this mysterious phantom pull off the perfect crime and walk away a millionaire? Or did the freezing Pacific Northwest wilderness claim his life? Let's break down exactly what happened.
Part 1. The Perfect Passenger.
All right, let's set the scene. It's the day before Thanksgiving, 1971. A quiet, polite-seeming guy calling himself Dan Cooper buys a $20 ticket to Seattle, boards a Boeing 727, and takes a seat right in the back row. Shortly after takeoff, Cooper orders a bourbon, lights a cigarette, and hands a small note to flight attendant Florence Schaffner. Now, assuming it was just a phone number, she casually dropped it in her purse. But then Cooper leaned forward and whispered, "Miss, you'd better look at that note. I have a bomb." Now, what's really interesting here is the profound psychological contrast. When Florence looked inside that briefcase, she saw the terrifying truth, a highly lethal wired explosive device. Yet Cooper wasn't frantic, he wasn't sweating, he was perfectly calm. His everyday demeanor was just completely at odds with the deadly threat sitting right on his lap.
So, with the bomb revealed, Cooper lays out his demands. He wants $200,000 in cash. But wait, not just any cash, he actually insists on non-sequential $20 bills. To put that into perspective for you, that's equivalent to over $1.5 million in today's money. On top of the cash, he demands 4 parachutes and a fuel truck waiting on the runway in Seattle. And through all of this, he remained the perfect gentleman, even paying his drink tab and insisting the flight attendant keep the change. You can't make this up.
Part 2. Flight into darkness.
Okay, let's dive into this next phase. Down on the dark tarmac in Seattle, Cooper swaps all 36 passengers for a heavy canvas bag of cash and 4 parachutes. Then he orders the pilots back into the air toward Mexico City. But he doesn't just give them a destination. He literally dictates the exact mechanics of the flight. Staying under 10,000 feet meant the cabin wouldn't depressurize if a door opened. Keeping the gear down at a crawling 170 knots? That's an incredibly specific, dangerous configuration. These bizarre demands proved to investigators that Cooper possessed remarkably deep, totally unusual knowledge of the Boeing 727.
Now the tension really ramps up. It's night. There's a massive storm raging outside. At exactly 8 p.m., flying over the dense, mountainous wilderness of Washington state, a warning light flashes in the cockpit. Cooper, who is now completely alone in the cabin, has manually lowered the aft air stairs. That's a set of stairs at the very tail of the plane. For 13 agonizing minutes, the plane flies with the back door open to the howling wind. Then, at 8:13 p.m., the pilots feel the tail of the plane suddenly pitch upward, signaling a massive shift in weight. Right before that shift in weight, back when the stairs were first lowered, the pilots had anxiously keyed the intercom asking, "Is everything okay back there?" Cooper's response was a single word, "No." It was his final recorded word. Moments later, wearing nothing but a sharp business suit and loafers, D.B. Cooper strapped the heavy bag of cash to his waist, walked down those stairs, and stepped right out into the roaring black abyss.
Part 3. The Longest Manhunt. Just think about the physical reality of what actually happened here. A man jumps into a freezing, pitch-black storm at 10,000 feet, wearing a business suit. How could anyone possibly survive that? Well, the moment the sun came up, the FBI launched Operation Norjack to find out. Search helicopters blanketed the dark pine forests of the Pacific Northwest in what became the absolute longest, most exhaustive investigation in FBI history. But despite searching for months, they found absolutely nothing. No parachute, no briefcase, no body.
For 9 long years, the trail was completely, utterly dead. And this brilliantly illustrates how cold cases can just suddenly spark back to life. In 1980, an 8-year-old boy named Brian Ingram was digging a fire pit in the sand on a beach along the Columbia River. Suddenly, his shovel hits something strange. He ends up uncovering 3 rotting, rubber-banded bundles of $20 bills.
So the crucial point here is how this specific evidence changed the entire investigation. Because on one hand, the serial numbers on those rotting bills were a perfect match to Cooper's ransom money, but instead of solving the case, it completely exploded the theories. The cash was found miles away from the calculated drop zone, and it was only a tiny fraction of the $200,000. Did the rest of the money wash away? Was he a highly trained military paratrooper who stashed some cash and survived? Or was he a thrill-seeking amateur who plunged to his death and the money simply drifted down the river?
These wild theories fueled a massive dragnet. 800 suspects. That is the sheer scale of this investigation. The FBI interviewed over 800 people over the decades. They looked into everyone, from a former Special Forces pilot who had previously faked his own death, all the way to disgruntled airline employees with a grudge against the industry. But every single one of those 800 leads ultimately hit a dead end.
Part 4. The Final Clues.
Decades of searching and thousands of man-hours yielded absolutely no definitive answers. So, in 2016, the FBI officially suspended the active investigation, pretty much cementing his status as the ultimate holy grail of true crime. Whoever Dan Cooper really was, he stepped out of an airplane and straight into legend. So I'm going to leave you with this. Do you think Cooper survived that impossible jump and spent his fortune in hiding? Or are his bones still resting somewhere deep in the Washington woods? Let us know your theories in the comments below, and if you enjoyed unpacking this mystery with us, hit subscribe for more deep dives like this explainer. See you next time.